Best keyboard.
Welcome back to the ASUS ROG DreamLeague live here from the DreamHack Monster Energy Studios. We're here for our second series of the night, Monkey Freedom Fighters once again. This time, they're going to try to beat Vega, which, well, we already decided that was the more tougher opponent compared to Alliance, who they weren't able to win a game against previously. So how are they going to try to do it this time? What we decided, lanes, focus lanes, actually. Let's then first take a look at Vega. We haven't talked about Vega yet. They're the fresh team here. So, Vega, what can we expect from them?
Broodmother, Ember Spirit, and more Broodmother.
Okay.
Pretty much.
Pretty much. None of those heroes appear in Most Picked because it's fairly recent. And?
Wisp.
Wisp, yeah. Yes. So, previous game we did see Monkey Freedom Fighters. Actually, they didn't ban out the Wisp. They banned out the combinations of the IO, rather. And it seemed like they were pretty confident in dealing with IO. As in, they, especially in the second game, they wanted almost Alliance to pick IO.
Yeah, but Alliance was like, nah.
Alliance was like, nah, you're expecting it.
But I also don't think that Alliance is yet on par to, you know, play as well as Vega plays around the Wisp.
Okay.
For them, it's a clear early phase pick, and I think they have a very, very high win record on that hero as well.
Yeah, and with Brood as well, you say they play, of course, the mid Brood, also with going for the passive maxed out first, for going on Spiderlings, picking him first as well.
They pick it if they can get it.
Yeah,
pretty much.
So we saw Brood getting first pick banned by Monkey Freedom Fighters versus Alliance.
Stick to the game. Stick to the plan. Yeah.
Which other one do you feel like is going to be next to the Brood? We saw Nature's Prophet getting banned out for Alliance.
I definitely think it's Ember Spirit.
Okay.
I think last week when Vega was playing, they had a 100% win rate on that hero with over 10 games. They lost 2 games now in the past, well, in between our last Dream League broadcast till now. They lost 2 games. I believe both of them actually against Team Liquid, which is, again, another very strong team.
Yeah.
So I still think you ban the Ember. I know or if they have first pick, they pick up the Ember themselves.
Yeah, because they like the Ember a lot, yeah.
It's a hero that really fits the playstyle of Vega, which, you know, they like to fight very early.
It's also, I mean, that Ember Spirit for sure one. The other one would be Shadow Fiend on Radiant.
Okay.
I think that's also a very good known hero.
I guess we can listen to the preliminary analysis for Team Vega.
My camera.
My camera. You know, that's now your camera right there.
All right, so we touched on the Ember Spirit. It's one of their best heroes.
Yeah.
I think the hero that they shouldn't be picking, or at least according to the statistic, is Slaughter. Last week we did see the Slaughter 5-man crush, which is really amazing.
Yeah.
But Slaughter only
was
has
it Empire, right?
Against Empire, yes.
Yeah.
No,
it was Empire versus Alliance.
Okay, so Slaughter, a good hero. It's a kind of the meta hero now. But they only have a 60% win rate, which is good for a lot of teams, but not for Vega. I think a lot of the other heroes are closing to like 70 to 80% win rate, which as a team that wins a lot, you know, that's kind of the number expecting.
Yeah.
The combo that they do absolutely amazing at is Wisp Tiny. They don't lose when they have Wisp Tiny. They were literally 100%.
Over how many games?
Wisp Tiny 4 games. And with the Wisp alone, they are pretty good as well.
Okay.
So,
yeah, as Hani already pointed out, that might be one that you want to remove from the pool altogether.
So Wisp is the focus point. Ember Spirit to me is the focus point. And you're getting into the problem where you only have 2 bans and they have...
Pretty much, I mean, 3 starting heroes that they work well around. I also think Shadow Fiend is, you could count it in there. Shadow Fiend as well as Queen of Pain. There's 5 heroes. And Doom.
Yeah, so,
6 heroes.
We'll see how it goes. I think Vega, to me, is... I don't think you could beat them in the draft.
Exactly. It shows the example is where you can't beat them in the draft, so you rather play your own game and not focus too much on what they pick and what they want to ban, or because you only have 2 bans, so why not just play your game? You know what they will pick. Probably you want to remove, I would say, Broodmother as one of them for sure.
Yeah.
The other one is rather open. Maybe then focus on what is your best opening that would still have the upper hand in the rest of the picks. That's kind of something I would expect them to do.
Now, would you, do you have any hero combination or heroes in mind where Vega's biggest strength to me is their team play? Like, they come at you 10, 15 minutes in the game and, you know, they do a lot of well-coordinated ganks, they do a lot of small skirmishes. Is there any hero in particular that's kind of good against that playstyle?
I can't emphasize enough, but I would actually like to still see the Mac combo at least once to, it's just see
Haven't
where
tried
Rice
it.
stands
Yeah.
and then see how that works. Then obviously you're asking for a combo. Something around PA can work. It's a decent combo. AM is also one of them, but is how comfortable is Singen playing these kind of carries? Because he played so much, Ember.
Right.
You haven't on a carry position as well. When have we seen him
Kunkka?
play there?
Does Kunkka with Magnus that
It
pair
kind of,
properly?
it can work. I think the combo works, but the thing is you can't just rely on a ship, and it's just this one more combo. You don't want to rely too much on that. But I also think, even with the very slight agility buff that Priest of the Moon had, it's pretty okay. I mean, the agility buff actually is not that bad, and you then turn a semi carry that just misses somewhat of damage into a carry position, which would be a comfortable pick for Sing.
Yeah, I mean, we actually, at the very start of the show, it was actually Owen that said, I would really like to see Marana from Sing Sing, so who knows? We might see that. Now, you know that Vega is going to fight. 15-minute mark around-ish is when they start getting really active. Then they have all their levels up, the heroes that they want to have, perhaps a Blink Dagger where they want to have one. Now, if you're Monkey Freedom Fighters, and you know this, are you going to try to either A, fight earlier to try and get them before they get the levels to get the Blink Dagger? Are you going to fight them at the same time and try to be ready and fight them at their game? Or are you going to prevent them from fighting altogether and try to drag the game out perhaps to come to late game where perhaps you feel more comfortable, which in this case, Monkey Freedom Fighters might not be their best option, I think. But what do you think?
I mean, obviously it really comes down to the draft, which is really a cop-out answer. But I think that teams should try to do more is aggressively ward at places that you think they're going to stack.
Yeah.
So, for example, if you're facing against TA, you just have a vision war on their Ancients. And you see teams do more and more smoke plays around that point. Like when you see the TA starting to take the Ancients, or, for example, an Alchemist starting to take those jungle stacks, you go as a smoke as 3 or 4, you kill the Alchemist or the TA, and you take the stack. I think that's generally where the biggest turn in that stage, like really early in the game, like 8, 9, 10 minutes, where the turn can happen, and you could kind of sap away a lot of momentum that the other team is trying to build. But as opposed to, or in terms of should we fight earlier or later, I think it really comes down to, what's their key item to go for? Is it a Deso on TA? Is it a Radiance on Alk? I think that really changes things.
We haven't seen Alchemist at all today. Not bad nor picked. Why is that?
I believe
as Alchemist player yourself.
I think teams still have the respect for that the hero needs a certain time to farm up.
Okay.
If he farms okay at a decent rate, he can have boots and radiance at like 10 minutes, 10, 11 minutes is possible. Okay. But you can shut him down. And as soon as you see the Alchemist picks as first counter picks for sure, and then he will be shut down. He's going to get a lot of gangs, and then you lose the momentum. And the question is, where does he fit in? Like, the Manta, Radiance, BOT, Octarine build seems to work for a lot of teams, but you can't really fight. You will not be able to just defend that easily. So you rather play a rat game and split push a lot.
And I guess that for both of these teams that we're seeing right now is not really their type of play. So we're probably
seems like they don't want to fight.
They just want to fight.
Yeah.
We saw that Monkey Freedom Fights against Alliance as well. Their supports, let's talk about their supports for a bit, because if you want to fight, you want to have a certain type of support. Now we've seen them run the Age Deparation. What kind of supports do you think they really could thrive with? Which do you really want to see? Which are the more aggressive supports that they can work with?
For sure, Yapsor. I think Yapsor is good on Shaker. He's also very good on Rubik, is one of his better heroes. And maybe some kind of initiation for him generally, like even Sand King, something that he can make a place on. I think Tusk is not too bad either. We've seen that. And I think it did okay in the early game.
Was he not Undying also last game?
Yes, he got Undying in second game. The first game he played Tusk, and I think he forced the first blood with some good Ice Shards, or was it Snowball? But either case, yesterday I was playing Dota with him, and he told me that he climbed to 7K with Night Stalker, Shaker, and Rubik. So it's definitely comfort hero for him when it goes to that. But in terms of fighting support that you're asking for, Tusk I think is great, Undying's great. Earthshaker not exactly the best for early game fighting.
It's okay.
Yeah,
I would say it's good for certain combinations. you also have the option to still offlane the hero. It kind of got out of trend though. I'm not sure why. I don't think the hero actually got any nerfs.
No.
I don't.
No,
think
we
the
saw-
fissure lost some damage, like 10 damage or something.
But even
Yeah.
after that, we
But-
saw him still picked a lot.
But I'm just talking about very recent.
Yeah,
he
yeah.
had a phase where he was picked up constantly. So it was
After
always
the patch, still, yeah.
a few first picks, at least in the first 4 picks, you had a shaker.
I think
And
it's really like with Brood and Doom kind of returning to the scene. I think he just kind of got pushed out.
that's true. He's not
Yeah.
that great at like he's not really good at stopping a rather strong offlaner. Like
Yeah.
against Broodmother, it's going to be very tough to find a hero or like a combination with Shaker that can
Yeah.
actually just kill constant Brood. Is really really tough. If Brood plays well,
Yeah.
it's going to be hard for you.
Well, not only is he not good at stopping those here, like you mentioned, but I feel like a lot of times you would rather have Doom as your offlane as opposed to Shaker as an offlane. If you want to look at the offlane comparison, because Brood and Doom, they forces a lot of reaction and attention from the enemy's offlanes. Where Shaker, you could kind of leave him alone. Like he's not going to harass your safe lane that much. He's going to get his dagger eventually, but your carry is probably going to get a ton of farm because Shaker is such a passive support, at least in the laning stage. So maybe that's why we haven't seen Shaker as much, but Sing Sing, at least when he was playing offlane, he played a ton of Shaker.
Yeah.
I'm not sure if that's going to kind of migrate to Jimmy now that he's on the offlane. We'll see.
Do you feel like previous 2 games, Monkey Freedom Fighters didn't work out? They're not going to switch lanes, or are they? Because they have so many variety of options.
I wouldn't actually think they'd switch lanes, but I do think we will see more comfort picks.
Okay.
I do think so. They just ran
check?
with something that's
If it's way too still.
optimal. Like for them,
Yes,
the
it
meta,
is.
they picked the Ember Pro. They had a few scrims with Sing playing Ember, and it worked out for them. But I think they just underestimated the Doom. Doom he just did whatever he wanted
Ban
to do
out
in
Doom
that
and
game.
Brood then.
Yeah, ban it or pick it. I mean, it's a rather easy hero to execute.
And for the previous 2 games that we saw, Monkey Freedom Fighters were on Radiant side both times. That means that they preferred Radiant over first pick because Alliance had first pick both games.
Yeah.
Would
So
you
it
then say,
happened.
like, take that back and just try to also get a first pick in? And then go dire?
I believe against Vega. Vega's actually a team that thrives from playing Radiant.
Okay.
I would say.
Okay.
You get a Shadow Fiend guaranteed. You get no one on the mid lane if he's Queen of Pain, Shadow Fiend, Ember, whatever he's gonna play. He plays a really really good mid, and he benefits from playing that Radiant side.
Okay, so we're going to see them compete for Radiant side, you would imagine.
It could be, but obviously, like you have to make a choice on the first pick. They maybe have seen now, okay, we can't just not go for the first pick. But in the end, if you have first pick or Radiant, it doesn't matter if the play is not on par. So either way, it's in the end just team composition, and hopefully they just go for something that's more comfortable.
Okay. By the way, for people wondering, we are waiting for our last player to load in, as Yepsor seems to be having issues with getting his game going. But while we wait, I'm here to remind you that you can still compete in the competition to get either a motherboard, well, or both actually. You can get a motherboard and a internal SSD for the PCI slot. And you can do that by going to facebook.com/ROGNordic, and you can try to win by putting in the most influential hero that you find of this week's DreamLeague series. So that means that you put in your hero and a motivation as to why you think that hero has the most influence on the games. And then on Saturday, it will be Hani selecting which hero actually was the most influential hero. No pressure, he's not bribable.
I mean, he's going to say Alchemist.
Dude, we haven't seen Alchemist the whole time.
Yeah, but
I
by
can't
the-
say Alchemist until it's actually picked once.
By the end of the week, there's going to be at least one out game.
What if there's not?
That can't be the case. Well, technically it can be, but we'll see.
Would
I
you
mean,
say Alchemist?
We have
though?
a Super Saturday as well, right? Like there's 5
Yeah.
series there as
Yes, loads of series.
well. So
The most influential hero so far, Doombringer. Let's stick to that.
This is actually very true.
yeah.
Well, there you have your answer, guys. But don't forget, I mean, it's going to be Saturday when the winner is chosen. So make sure you put in the correct answer, because what if Doom is no longer What if Doom gets?
I don't think it stays with that.
Yeah,
Yeah.
let's just say that won't stay that way. We are actually into the draft, by the way, so we can take a look there. As finally the last player has loaded in. We haven't had a single ban yet, but we discussed this, and we believe that it will be. Well, actually, this time they have first pick. Monkey Freedom Fighters have first pick, so they might actually let Doom in and pick it up for themselves.
5 seconds remaining.
And do we have any update on if Vega just chose Radiant?
We do not.
Because, like I was mentioning, I would think they would choose if
If they had the choice, they would choose Radiant. Yeah.
it could be that because it's odd that you neither get the first pick or the side.
The size that you want. Yeah, we're gonna assume that one of them either picked Radiant or picked First Blood. Well, I would like to be able to pick First Blood, but I mean first pick. We have the IO ban, by the way. Doom is actually removed by Vega as well as the Ember Spirit, which Sing Sing so likes, and that might force them into picking up something that Sing Sing hasn't played in a while. He's very good at, like a Kunkka.
No, I don't think Kunka's.
It's not going to be picked that early. I think. I mean, still have a Queen of Pain. It's not that far of a stretch as a first pick, especially on Dire.
Or would you want to deny the Radiant Shadow Fiend by picking that one up?
Not on Dire.
There you go
Yes.
for
Okay.
Darkseer.
Darkseer.
I mean, Queen of Pain is not really that much of an Arise hero, is she?
I think pretty much every mid player should be able to play.
Yeah.
So no
But-
surprise here.
Yeah, we
Shadow
can
Fiend.
see the Tusk Shadow Fiend combination as first two. I believe Tusk is a rather common pick on most teams as the first phase. In the previous series, we haven't seen it as such. But I think the very top teams, like in almost all matchups, you would see it a first pick-up ban in almost all phases.
10 seconds
It's
remaining.
at least highly prioritized. I really like the Darkseer pick for Monkey Freedom Fighters. I think that's a bit of a comfort pick. We talked about them needing to go back to their roots, going for the comfort heroes, and I think Darkseer is one of those heroes that's really difficult to go wrong with
Yeah,
at this point.
and we do have the possibility of a Darkseer Night Stalker.
Yeah.
Maybe not exactly as a dual
10
offlane, but Night
seconds
Stalker could come
remaining.
in that first night. You put Iron Shot on him.
It's actually not too bad. It
As a
really,
dual
5
offlane?
seconds
yeah, even
remaining.
as a duo, obviously it depends on what else goes on the lane. If now, let's say Vega picks up an AA, for example,
Right.
and you have A Tusk +1, it's going to be hard to run that dual lane. It's not going to be successful. But there is an option that if they run rather weak in the overall matchups, that you can see a dual off lane.
Yeah.
It's not too uncommon.
I think
10
not only is
seconds
Darkseer
remaining.
and Night Stalker great as comfort pick, but it's good against what Vega is trying to do,
5
which is fight
seconds
you
remaining.
specifically from 10-15 minutes on, because at that point, your Darkseer is likely to have a mech finish.
Reserve
If the
time.
laning stage doesn't go terribly, your Night Stalker is, well, if it's nighttime, he's fairly strong. So I think you're at least ready to take some fights against Vega Squadron.
Yeah, you need to be. I like that they remove Clock. Heavy control hero for Mag, and he plays it really well. And if you want to try to have a run at you lineup, cogs are of course very annoying to deal with.
Yep.
I would not be surprised to see them also ban out the Earthshaker for the same reason.
What else has Mac run? Next to...
10
Beastmaster,
seconds
one of the
remaining.
best.
Oh, true.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What else?
Also very popular.
I mean, he used to
5
play loads of
seconds
Centaur.
remaining.
He has one Centaur game in 6.85. I'm not sure whether they won or lost that
Reserved
one.
Nobody, like, there's very few people playing Centaur regardless.
I think
That's
Centaur is
fantastic.
actually somewhat played as a counter to Doom.
Okay, just run away.
Yeah, because you get doomed, and then if Stampede is activated for your carry, you just run away out of the fight to reset the fight.
He's been playing a bit of Slaughter as well. Although Slaughter has been kind of switched up. Sometimes is, you know, in the core position, safe lane. Sometimes it's off lane. We'll see. Bane is going to be the pick. Okay.
They actually
Dire
still play
team
Bane Mirana, by the way, or still play. Like, they're one of the teams that is actually not afraid to pick it up. And if we're talking about trying to get some lane dominance in, Bane Mirana is of course very, very good. Would you run Mirana as a core? You mentioned earlier that with the small agility buff that she got, that's viable.
I haven't actually seen it myself in practice. How much? It's not
10
that
seconds
huge of a difference,
remaining.
but it's something. Can you play it as a core? You can.
5
It's
seconds
very
remaining.
scary because it's a lane that can control you on its own.
Yeah.
Reserve
In the start of the lane though, it doesn't kill a Darkseer
No.
until you need like a few levels until you actually have kill potential. But sleep arrow is for sure scary.
What if you run Mirana Bane off lane, Tusk plus something else on the safe lane?
Then Darkseer runs you over, I would say. You're gonna have a problem. Darkseer is just pushing you into the tower.
Unless you have something like a Juggernaut, you can have the healing ward. That's nice.
But it's going to be hard to zone out Darkseer with 2 melee heroes. I think that's... Well, what Bane gives you in the laning stage is that Darkseer is constantly afraid. Like, even with Surge, if Bane walks at you and if you don't Surge, then he nightmares you and sets you up with a combo. If you do Surge, then he nightmares you and you still die. So Bane, one of the best support in business and kind of shutting down Darkseer.
Also, especially on Radiant, where you can stay, like, the wave is going to be at the tower of Radiant, where Darkseer has no chance to get experience.
Yeah.
And then Bane just needs to stand there. Once you get into the kill zone, meaning like you walk too far in and you get slept, and most likely there will be a combo, Slaughter, that will eventually kill you.
Team pick.
Yeah.
So we saw similar dual support picks from MFF, although it was Undying and Disruptor in the last game. But to me, what this team so far lacks is they have a ton of utility, but not just raw kind of right-click damage, like Shadow Fiend, for example, Slaughter.
Yeah.
That's where especially Shadow Fiend plus Slaughter is a good combo. They help each other out a lot.
Right.
Slaughter deals some damage, you can't really ignore him, but Shadow Fiend gets such a force with amplified damage, he 3-shots you.
Right.
5
Where that combo
seconds
makes a lot of
remaining.
sense. And it just overall is a very, very well-rounded lineup. You get a lot of AoE damage,
Reserve
you
time.
have physical late-game dominance with these two cores, and I think your disables as well are superior. On the side of Monkey Freedom Fighters, you so far have decent 5-on-5 with Disruptor plus Darkseer. It's a pretty good combination,
Right.
but you clearly lack damage. There's no burst whatsoever.
So which kind of fighting core would you like to see from them?
Gyro would be not. I think Gyro is quite okay just for the overall AoE damage, but amplified damage on a gyrocopter when Shadow Fiend hits him, he will not win that fight.
But I think that will go for most people. There's the Juggernaut still. That is a decent fighting core as well. He can get active fairly early on. Will still get hurt a lot.
The problem I see with Jugger, that he's too. The entire lineup is just too single target oriented at this point. Night Stalker on his if it's a support position, he can like utilize the vision advantage that you will get,
Sure.
but he will actually not deal
10
any damage
seconds remaining.
in the mid game. You have to snowball with his lineup. That's already like a must. Darkseer, he's great at he puts a lot of pressure on a lane. So your other lanes are freed up, meaning a Disruptor can potentially rotate and put a lot of pressure on a Shadow Fiend.
Okay.
But it's still there has to be some pick on the side of Monkey Freedom Fighters that gives them a bit more AoE and late game control.
Lena.
The mid hero that they will pick up now needs to have more,
Dire team
like a
pick.
lot of impact, and
Sounds
has to do
like-
well against the Shadow Fiend. It's a tough
Sounds
thing
like you're
to do.
referring to a Magnus. AoE,
Uh-huh.
late game team
Juggernaut.
fight, empower for your Juggernauts.
I wouldn't be too surprised. It's also not too bad on.
I
Actually,
mean-
I think that then they have a double. They have the double AoE control.
I mean, the Razor's banned out, so we can't pick that one anymore.
It definitely alleviates your problem of pretty single target. Because
10
I feel like
seconds
Omni Slash
remaining.
is going to have a tough time getting kills. Like Tusk could mess you up with Snowball. There's
5
the 1 second
seconds
invulnerability by Nightmare. And obviously Shadow Fiend probably going to get fairly tanky as well. So
I would be fitting. I
Reserve
actually
time.
think it would be fitting. Jugger also can then focus on just going for SNY. You know, like he will have the cleave, so he actually farms quite fast.
right.
So you get SNY Scotty
10 seconds
or
remaining.
SNY.
Nope, there you go.
There you go.
This is the Magnus
Okay,
draft
so
done.
despite the fact that there's Empower helping out Juggernaut, I feel like Juggernaut has a lot of lifting to do. Like he has to outcarry a Slaughter, Shadow Fiend, and I imagine a fairly farm Tusk as well.
For sure. And with the last pick here by Vega, you see you have a pretty much triple stun. Like you start with a sleep into either Crush or
Light Strike Array.
Or Light
Yeah.
Strike Array.
So what do we think? I mean, you said either you pick Magnus or you lose.
Pick
Is this it?
I'll have my faith in Arias.
I believe. What do you think, Lumi?
I'm gonna go with Rise Magnus as well.
Okay.
It's a snowball lineup, and they need to snowball, and I hope they do.
Okay, well, let's see if the casters believe it well. It is time for our first game. It's going to be Vega taking on Monkey Freedom Fighters with Odie Pixel and Draskell.